I'm Jackson Carpenter. Let's talk about the Keystone XL pipeline. The Keystone XL connects the tar sands of Alberta, Canada with the Gulf of Mexico, which doesn't sound like much, but this is way more than just a pipeline. I don't know who named this thing, but they picked the perfect name because it really is the keystone holding up all of the tar sands mining operations, just like the keystone in an arch, like this one. That's the Keystone XL pipeline. This right here. Without that, the whole thing comes tumbling down. So why do we care about the Keystone XL? Well, first of all, none of the tar sands oil will ever burn in an American engine. America is just a hub to get the oil overseas. It won't create any lasting jobs or power for the United States except for construction and, of course, cleaning up the inevitable spills. All the oil and all the jobs go overseas. So why does this pipeline even need to come through the US? Because otherwise it would have to go west from Alberta through the Canadian Rockies and someplace like Vancouver. And Vancouver is already fighting tooth and nail against this pipeline because pipelines are leaky and dangerous and they don't want it on their doorstep. And further north in the Canadian Rockies, Indigenous groups have already won the right to keep this pipeline out. So Canada can't take it out to the west. To the east, they're trying to convert an old gas pipeline to do the trick and get the oil out of St. John's, New Brunswick, but they're also facing stiff opposition. Some of it manages to get out on trains, and about 300,000 barrels go out through Seattle, but the only really viable way to get the bulk of the oil out is to go south through the US to the Gulf of Mexico. That's the danger of the Keystone XL and the power of it too, because by stopping the pipeline, we can stop the mining of the tar sands, which may be the worst thing that humans have ever thought to do to the planet. So what's so bad about the tar sands? Coal, oil, and natural gas all used to be living things millions of years ago. They ended up dying and collecting in places where decomposing bugs couldn't reach them. After being buried underground and cooked and pressurized for a long time, they turned into fossil fuels. Well, it takes a lot of heat and pressure to turn dead bodies into coal, oil, and natural gas. And an early step along that path is the formation of bitumen, which is tar. That's the same tar that they use to pave the roads. It's sticky, it's toxic, it's nearly indestructible, and it takes a whole lot of heat and pressure to turn it into oil. Normally, bitumen is hidden far underground, so you have to mine it out or hit it with superheated steam to make it liquid enough to extract. So it's crazy expensive to get your hands on. And once you get it, you still have to cook it under pressure to turn it into oil. No one in their right minds would consider it, and the fact that it's even on the table means that we've exhausted easy oil. The wells in Texas that explode out of the ground? Gone. Even the deep water oil, thousands of feet under the ocean, is more and more difficult to find. So some corporations turn to bitumen. I mean, it's almost oil, right? Normally it's buried deep underground and out of reach, but not in Alberta, Canada. Through a quirk of plate tectonics, there's tar sands right under the soil in Alberta. All you have to do is get rid of anything living on the soil, strip mine enormous areas of land, wash the sand in torrents of water, making the water so toxic that anything exposed to it dies, and then cook the sand with enormous amounts of fossil fuel, and you will get poor quality oil. This stuff isn't even any good. It's crap oil. It's called heavy crude, and it's so bad we don't even want it in the United States. All of it's destined for Europe and Asia. It takes roughly 2 tons of tar sands to make 1 barrel of crappy oil. That means you have to strip mine miles and miles of pristine wilderness to get any real amount of oil out. 1,300 square miles are leased for strip mining so far. That's an area the size of Rhode Island. And an area the size of Florida is under consideration. Not all of that will be strip mined, but still, Florida. The statistic most often used to talk about the wastefulness of the tar sands is that the tar sands already consume twice the amount of water as the city of Calgary every year. Calgary? Which means that the tar sands use up 3 million people's worth of water every year because it takes 12 barrels of water to get out 1 barrel of bitumen. All that water makes tailing ponds so large that they can be seen from space and so toxic that they have to put cannons around them to scare away any wildlife. So extracting oil from the tar sands is far dirtier than any other kind of oil extraction, but it also uses a lot more fossil fuel. Estimates vary from the conservative side that say it takes about 14% more fossil fuel to the hysterical side that says that you barely get out more oil than you put in. But everybody agrees that it takes a lot more fossil fuel to extract bitumen and turn it into oil than to get oil any other way. With the XL pipeline, they can greatly expand their production of oil sands oil because they can finally get all that crappy oil out of Canada, because guess what? Canada doesn't want it either. And the oil companies are desperate. That's why the Keystone XL matters, because with the Keystone, they can move all that crappy oil and greatly expand the destruction of the tar sands. Without the Keystone, that oil is stuck where nobody wants it. The tar sands stop being viable, and that's the end of the story.